Thank you, Superintendent Goodman, Principal Punjabi, honored guests, and most especially the class of 2020. I'm honored to be chosen to speak as you are entering the next stage of your lives, and as I'm retiring. I've been asked to look back at the years that you have been attending Littleton Public Schools and try to provide some perspective on the changes in technology and in instruction over the 13 years you've been in school. Most of you began kindergarten in the fall of 2007. Even though you most likely were not aware of this at the time, that was a watershed year here at Arapahoe as we began our 21st Century Learners Initiative, which we dubbed 2020 Vision. We knew that the students starting kindergarten would graduate from Arapahoe in the year 2020, so we consciously tried to envision what the world would look like in that year. We wanted to make sure that, as much as possible, we provided an education both to our current students and to our future students just starting school that would allow them to be successful in the year 2020 and beyond. We made a promise to all our current and future students that we'd provide them both the tools and the skills necessary to be successful learners, workers, and contributing members of the global community in the 21st century. Interestingly, 2007 was also the year that the $100 laptop project began distributing their first set of laptops. While they missed the $100 mark by a bit, they cost $145. They were well on their way, and over 5 million students in 5 underdeveloped nations suddenly had direct access to 21st century information and communication technologies. At Arapahoe, we encouraged, for the first time, students to bring their own laptops and connect wirelessly to the internet through our network. There were only a handful at the start of the school year, but well over 100 students were consistently bringing their laptops to school by the end of the school year. In 2008, Littleton Public Schools, along with all other Denver metro area school districts, reached agreement with Comcast to house WiMAX Extreme broadcast stations. The agreement allowed Comcast to saturate the Denver metro area with high-speed wireless internet for less than the current cost of wired broadband. The school districts got free wireless internet access and direct wired connections to the higher-speed, academic use only Internet 2 backbone. With the increased bandwidth at school and the ubiquitous wireless access to the internet throughout the Denver metro area, laptop computer penetration exploded in the wealthier areas. Over 600 students at Arapahoe were using their laptops at school on a daily basis. Meanwhile, the $100 laptop was now down to $120 and shipped its 12 millionth unit this year. Arapahoe began working collaboratively with 10 sister schools on 6 different continents, including 2 schools that were recipients of the $100 laptop. In June, the business world was turned upside down as Amazon purchased eBay. The newly formed eBay immediately changed the way goods were bought and sold, as the price of everything became negotiable and was constantly fluctuating based on supply and demand. Traditional retailers initially scoffed at the new model, but soon had to transform their practices, as consumers refused to pay a fixed price for anything. The same week, Google quietly announced the purchase of Logitech and Shure. In 2009, 10 teachers at Arapahoe began podcasting all their classes. They wore high-quality lapel microphones, and their voices were recorded and then uploaded to a server for automatic distribution through RSS feeds. Students and parents downloaded the podcast over 200,000 times, but a chief complaint was the lack of student voices as well as any video component. In October, the $100 laptop project shipped its first true $100 laptop. They now had shipped over 32 million laptops worldwide. Due to the competition and manufacturing efficiency this project created, the average price of corporate laptops was now less than $500. Over 1,100 Arapahoe students were now bringing laptops every day, causing considerable strain on our network infrastructure. Google purchased the Associated Press and ABC Disney, as well as lectures from 32 universities including Stanford, MIT, and Harvard. Yahoo purchased Reuters, NBC, and Universal Studios, as well as lectures from 40 universities including Princeton, the University of Michigan, and Caltech. In January of 2010, Google announced Google Cam, a video solution that integrated a high-quality webcam, label microphone, area microphone, and uploading software. The ceiling-mounted Gcam automatically tracked and synced with the lapel microphone, and the area microphone picked up audio from the classroom. The software automatically captured the computer screen and synced with the video and audio, then uploaded the completed Gcast to Google's servers. The uploaded Gcast was managed from a dashboard where teachers could create multiple channels, each with their own RSS feed. Each channel had an associated blog and Google Docs environment, synchronized with Gmail, and was all managed by a learning management system that used Moodle as its base. By August, Arapahoe finished its network upgrade and installed Gcams in 10 demonstration classrooms. Demand for the content was overwhelming, so Gcams were installed in all the rest of the classrooms over winter break. In January of 2011, the Warrior Portal launched, a single environment that linked all teacher and student content in one location. Arapahoe announced that beginning in the fall of 2013, they would do away with grades and transcripts altogether, moving to a learning exhibition system rooted in the students' electronic portfolios. Classes at Arapahoe routinely telelearned with 10 sister schools around the world, and parents, grandparents, and others interested in education routinely observed via the web and occasionally participated in classes at Arapahoe. All students at Arapahoe now had a laptop, as the average cost had dipped below $400, and they were considered a required school supply. Most are purchased by parents, but others are provided by the school district based on a program similar to free and reduced lunch. In March of 2011, Microsoft purchased Yahoo and Dell, sending its stock price soaring. Bill Gates is now worth over $500 billion. That same week, Google quietly announced the purchase of 5 startup companies in the areas of solar energy, battery technology, and quantum computing. Google also quietly purchased 2 manufacturing conglomerates in China and vast stretches of land in sub-Saharan Africa. In early 2012, Arapahoe High School and Arapahoe Community College announced plans to form a new, consolidated educational institution. When it opened in the fall of 2013, students would enroll in a 4-year program any time between their 7th and 10th grade year and would not be limited by their place of residence. Upon graduation, all students would have a minimum of 2 years of college credit transferable to all state universities in Colorado and the majority of national universities. Students would be charged the current community college tuition, although needs-based scholarships would be available to everyone. The state of Colorado immediately blocked the program, claiming it exceeded the school district's authority and violated their right to free public education. A group of parents sued the state, and, in June 2013, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of the parents. Due to the delay because of litigation, Arapahoe Community School would now open in the fall of 2015. In September of 2013, Google shocked just about everyone by purchasing controlling stakes in Ford Motor Company, Apple Computer, and AMD, and Al Gore joined Google's board. Google's stock price plunged 45% in a single day as Google refused to disclose their plans, and shareholders demanded an emergency recall vote for the board of directors. The vote was scheduled for mid-December. At the beginning of December, Google announced that Warren Buffett had joined the board and that Berkshire Hathaway had been purchasing Google stock since the drop in early September. The board promised that within 12 to 18 months their plans would be clear and urged shareholders to stay the course. A slight majority of shareholders decided to give the board 12 more months to make their plans clear. On December 1, 2014, Google held a press conference to announce breakthroughs in solar energy technology, battery technology, energy transmission, and quantum computing. Google panels quadruple the efficiency of current solar panels at 1/3 of the cost. All of Google's data centers around the world would be powered by Google panels by the end of the year, saving the company tens of millions of dollars per year in electricity costs and earning it an additional $30 million a year in carbon rebates. Within 3 years, Google ramped up production of Google panels to replace 2/3 of the electricity and natural gas usage on the planet. Google panels could be manufactured in a variety of forms, including roof shingles for single-family homes and vast arrays of super-efficient panels in uninhabited areas. Google announced they would provide free electricity to 15 African countries using their Google Grid in the African deserts. Google also announced G-Car, a new electric car to be produced by Ford that utilized new battery technology that provided over 1,200 miles on a single charge. For homeowners with Google panels installed on their roofs, this amounted to virtually free transportation. Each G-Car also served as a wireless access point and wireless signal extender, becoming part of a worldwide Google Mesh network that would achieve over 75% coverage over inhabited land masses within 12 months. Finally, Google also announced a working prototype of a fully functional quantum computer, currently equivalent to 2012 chip speeds for less than 5% of the cost. The chips required so little power that laptops ran on solar energy and water vapor collected from the atmosphere. Using AMD's fabrication facilities, they anticipated moving all their data centers over to the new chip architecture by June of 2015. Soon after that, they would release the chips to computer manufacturers. Google's stock price quadrupled overnight, and by the end of the year, its market value exceeded $1.5 trillion. In August of 2015, Arapahoe Community School officially launched. Over 5,000 students enrolled, including 2,100 on the Arapahoe High School campus, the rest attending at Arapahoe Community College or were concurrently enrolled in homeschool. In September, Google and Apple announced the first shipping quantum computer, the Imagine. The operating system and all Apple applications are now completely open source. There was no proprietary software that shipped on the machine. The computer was free, except for $19.95 shipping and handling and a $40 yearly subscription to the new Google Premium. All Imagine owners have exclusive access to Google Premium, an aggregation of all Google's vast resources of information, including scanned books from 10 major university libraries and early bird access to eBay merchandise. Google projected over $20 billion in advertising revenue from Google Premium alone in the first year, and doubling every year thereafter for at least the next 10 years. The $100 laptop project immediately announced that it would begin distributing Imagine for free to all children between the ages of 5 and 15 in underdeveloped countries. They anticipated it would take 4 years to reach 80% of the world's poor children. Microsoft approached Google and asked to join forces. Google accepted and integrated Microsoft's content into Google Premium. Intel sues Google, claiming unfair business practices. Intel versus Google is fast-tracked to the U.S. Supreme Court and, in May of 2016, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Google. Google immediately announced that it would launch Google University next year. In January of 2017, Google U officially opened, initially offering content equivalent to 9th grade through a master's degree. There was no tuition, as ad revenue from Google Premium more than covered Google's infrastructure and content acquisition costs. Google accepted applications from secondary schools and colleges around the country to be Google U partners, with the partners getting a per-student cut of the Google Premium ad revenue. Arapahoe became a partner, did away with its own formal schedule of classes, and organized itself around student interest and need and Google U's offerings. Arapahoe teachers worked in teams to facilitate student learning in a variety of subject areas. In February of 2018, President Obama announced that the U.S. no longer imported any oil or natural gas, and that the federal budget had a $500 billion surplus due to energy and national security-related savings. For the first time, global carbon emissions were lower than the previous year. Arapahoe's enrollment approached 20,000 students across Colorado. Each of the high school athletic leagues aligned themselves with a major state university. The Continental League joined the University of Colorado system, with Arapahoe Community School being the high school model to emulate. In April of 2019, Google and Apple announced the iMagine, a new version of the Imagine that utilized a display that is projected onto the user's retina, eliminating the need for an external display. The iMagine is the size of a deck of cards and wirelessly transmits data to the retinal projector mounted on eyeglass frames. The image size is controlled by the user, but can simulate up to a 56-inch display. Most users typically use it as a heads-up display supplement to real reality, providing a variety of information about whatever environment they are interacting with. The iMagine is controlled either by voice or by iThumb, a wireless thumb keypad similar to those that used to be found on cell phones. School looked very different than when you started in kindergarten. While a fairly large number of students did choose to learn from home, the majority of students continued to attend physical high school, coming together to interact with their peers socially, intellectually, and athletically. The rigid bell and class schedules of the past were gone, replaced by a much richer and more robust learning experience. Students were part of a vast learning network, which included, but was not limited to, their physical classmates. Students were no longer constrained by a rigid curriculum, but were free to pursue a much higher level of inquiry. All students were responsible for mastering the essential learnings and for interacting with a wide range of ideas, and had to demonstrate their knowledge on a regular basis in order to receive feedback on their learning and growth. But they were also free to pursue their passions, to truly take charge of their own learning, to take their education to a level rarely seen before. That brings us to the present, May of 2020. The 13 years that you have been in school have seen exponential changes, not only in the advances in technology, but in the ability of each person to live and learn and grow as part of a global community. Despite the fears of many that technology would be isolating, instead it has brought the human race closer together, helping us realize that all humans are created equal and that we are responsible for each other. We still have many problems to solve and injustices to right, but we have made spectacular advances in the last 13 years. As you are about to enter the next phase of your lives, I would encourage you to live by the motto that has driven Arapaho since 2007, change the world. As Robert Kennedy said more than 50 years ago, some men see things as they are and say why. I dream things that never were and say why not. I ask you to continue the vision, to dream and say why not. Thank you.